Silly me. I was muted. Hello, y'all. Welcome to Clumsy Clairvoyance. I appreciate you being here. If this is your first time here, welcome. If this is not your first time here, excuse me, welcome back. I appreciate you spending time with me. And I hope that the time I bestow on you is just as good as the time you bestow on me, okay? um, it's good to see everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. What is today? Today Wednesday? Well, to me, I think wait, hold on, it's Wednesday, Thursday. It is so for me, I believe it's Wednesday going into Thursday. A lot of y'all might be in Thursday. What day is it for everybody that's in chat already? I am curious. She boomered. Oh yeah, I love booming it. Totally, totally. um, but yes, welcome to the show. Hopefully, everybody is doing well. For anyone that is new, anyone that's not new, and just might not know, here, okay, we do tarot readings, oracle readings, and I like to consider this a very loving, no judgment zone, but very realistic as well. So, if this is your first time here, I will explain a little bit to you as far as the readings go. Anyone that sends in a tip or donation, they will get priority, okay? Meaning I will tend to their questions first, all right? However, if you can't send a tip or donation in, that is totally completely okay. Go ahead and type your question in the chat, but just let me know, like, hey, I just want a general reading whenever you can get to it or something like that, or whenever donations are done. Whatever it is, that's fine. And if and when I have time, I will get to it either in between readings or after the tips and donations. I try to make it a point to get to them in between. Is usually when I do get to them. However, if I can't, I will get to it near the end. Okay, so just wanted to put that out there just so everyone is in the know. Also, um, there was something else I was gonna say, but of course, I do have the memory of an elephant in regards to what happened like 18 years ago, but I can't tell you what I was thinking 5 seconds ago. So if it comes back and when it comes back, I will let y'all know. But yes, let me know in the chat if you want a question, don't have a question, if you send in a donation or not, either way. And I'm going to go ahead, pull some stuff up and see who's in chat. So again, thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. The serious shirt. Hold on, what's the serious shirt? So does Lady Gay, as always. Melissa. How are you, Melissa? Well, I like the black and red. That's very cute. Thanks, Darth. Kind of matches your picture, too. Thursday's the real world. Oh, hushy over there. Look, you guys are first in line. You know what? I gotta admit, I kind of get excited when I get a little crowd of like, well, my crowd's always kind of little, right? That she said, but but I do kind of like it a little bit because I could, get a little deeper in the reading sometimes. So, Melissa, maybe you have a certain question you've been, thinking of. Type it in the chat. Let me know, or if you just want a general reading, I can pull you cards that way as well. Same with you, Darth. So, y'all, let me know, and I will start pulling cards for you guys. And I'm gonna pull something else up real quick. So I will BRB. Y'all don't be shy amongst each other, okay? No, no. Melissa's having internet issues, poor thing. It's funny too because Expert was just like bragging about how nice her how good her how good her what's it called? Her internet is because oh wait, hold on. I don't have any question because I'm on a cleaning organizing kick at home. I'm just super focused on that. I should be making content for my channel. But okay, we'll see if you got a general message then, all right now? All right, spirit angels and guides, please come through for Melissa. But yeah, I was saying, Melissa, it wasn't Expert just saying the other night. I think it was on that the New Year's Eve stream that he was saying something about how you have like the best internet and you're all the way there. All right, spirit angels and guides, please come through for Melissa. Any messages for Melissa for the week? What does she need to know? Just general messages for Melissa. Ooh, okay, good. Anything else? Okay, interesting. Okay, so we have the Wheel of Fortune. We have the Seven of Cups in reverse. And we have the Four of Swords. So this is a question I just want to ask you by chance. Have you been having nightmares? Or have you had one recently? I am curious because we have the Seven of Cups, which is kind of dark thoughts or dark imaginings. And then we got it right next to the card of kind of restlessness. So it makes me wonder if you've been having or have had a nightmare recently, okay? Um, if you had, I'll say, the Wheel of Fortune is kind of like a solidarity, a message of don't worry, it's okay. And if you haven't had nightmares, that's still okay. What I would say though is, no, not that you could remember. Okay. A lot of people don't remember their dreams, so I get it. However, though, so let's say you haven't had any nightmares recently. What I would say is get the rest you need. Okay. I don't know if you have been restless lately, though, meaning like it's been harder for you to fall asleep. However, though, I feel like for you in particular, there's something I want to say. Okay. So the Seven of Cups sometimes could be dark thoughts, dark imaginings. Okay. And that doesn't necessarily mean like, you're dreaming of murdering someone in the middle of the night or anything like that. Well, it might as well be that as well. However, though, usually doesn't mean that. Um, what I want to say is for you, I feel like it's more of a negative thought process. And I feel like, Melissa, before when I've read for you, you can be kind of tough on yourself, even when people are telling you, like, oh, you're doing wonderful, you're doing great. You're like, they're full of shit. They're just trying to kiss my ass. I'm not doing wonderful. So I feel like you're really, really kind of tough on yourself, which might just be part of like who you are at the core, which is okay. However, though, with this card taken front and center in the middle, this Seven of Cups reverse, I do want to say be careful of, how dark or how hard you are on yourself. Also, I'm going to say this. Be careful about like the content that you're intaking right now, meaning like really gory, really scary movies or really bad content perhaps on the internet, maybe some 4chan, okay, no judgment zone. However, though, I just feel like you need to hear to be careful about what you're intaking right now. Okay, so there you go, my dear. What? Hold on. What are you talking about? They tried to turn port entry into a calendar earlier on Expert. I was holding there for like 10 minutes. Oh, the advent calendar. Okay. Is that what it was? Yes, no 4chan. I agree with the no 4chan thing. So, but just yeah, I feel like yeah, be careful with stuff like that. Just be careful what you're intaking, okay? In that regard. You're hold on. I didn't get an advent calendar though. I feel a little bit out of the loop. Oh, Darth, you're killing me. So, no one's here right now. You want me to share some funny videos? Darth, you want your reading now or later? Because you know I'll still give you one regardless. So, okay, your Christmas advent shirts. Yeah, I got it now. At first, I was like, "What do they mean they're putting her into a calendar?" I got just slightly concerned, just slightly. Okay. Oh, that's cute, Melissa. I kind of like that idea. Okay, so do they mean like a countdown for every like major holiday? That might not be a bad idea. What you could do too is hold on, I'm thinking, but you could do like a for Valentine's Day, maybe do the countdown from February 1st, but you would have to choose which holidays, you know what I mean, out in advance. Like you're gonna do Valentine's Day, Halloween, this, and this, and make sure you kind of have it planned out or thought out which ones. Because if not, they'll be having you do Memorial Day. They'll be having you do all the whack holidays, Melissa. So make sure it's the holidays you want to do. Okay, no one else is here, so let's watch some fun stuff. Hold on. I'm such a brat, huh? I'm like, you guys were here. No one's here. Let's go watch some funny videos. So hold on. Let me find what I'm looking for, though. Hello, and ma'am, in which year I will meet my soulmate? How about this? Let's do within like a 1 to 3 year range, a 1 to 5 year range. We'll do something like that. Hold on, okay? I'm trying to see if I have my dice nearby. I feel like I don't though, so hold on. Okay, we'll go cards then. All right, spirit angels and guides, please come through for Anita. Would like to know which year may she meet her soulmate. Can we get within the next 1 to 3, 3 to 6, and 6 to 9, and then a 0 or ace for within the next year? Okay, so we have the 3. I'm going to say within the next 3 years. All right, Anita? So there you go, my dear. Okay, so I was thinking of a funny clip though. However, okay, so Darth and Melissa, I do have this one. Okay, so I have this little like, I like watching little scary stuff, but really like obscure stuff. So I have this video that I really like. It's called it's like about like bizarre fates, like people who end up in really weird positions, like 1 in a million type, like worst case scenario type positions. So if you want to take a peek at it, let me know. And hello, Taurus Moon, how are you? I wasn't muted, right? I don't think I was. However, though, this is I really do like this. This is cute. Did you guys hear that? Meow. Taurus Moon, let me know if you sent in a tip or donation for a reading, okay? That way I can get to it. However, I am gonna pull up something. I'm gonna pull up this real quick first because it's a short clip. But this I thought was extra cute. Hold up. Hold up. Okay, tell me if y'all can see it, okay? All right, can you guys see it? Let me know. Okay, Taurus Moon, I will be right there. This is a 1 minute clip that I thought was really cute that I just want to share with everybody. And then I have another one I might share later on, so.
Lily's 8 years old. You want to get down? Okay. I got her 8 years ago at a local vet, fell in love with her, and brought her home, and she's been our baby ever since. Lily enjoys going outside. She's an indoor-outdoor cat. We unfortunately had 90 days to move. With Lily, she owned the block. And
she owned the block, y'all.
For the last 4.5 years. And I was really nervous bringing her to a new area, how she would react.
So this cat supposedly, y'all, just in case you've never seen this, I like to save weird clips, but this cat supposedly like rings. She goes missing, I think, or something like that, and then rings her owner's doorbell. So let's see.
It was like the second week that we were here, and she had gotten out. Normally, she always comes home. This time it's all different, and I didn't think Lily was
And this is from PIX News Channel or PIX 11, okay?
On my Ring camera that somebody has been spotted at my front doorstep.
Aw, look at that cat!
Lily's face appears, and
how freaking cute!
We all gasped. We were laughing. We were emotional. We were crying.
Oh my god!
How cute is that freaking cat?
She clearly knew what she was doing with the Ring camera. It looked like she was running from something. She was like, "Let me in." I do feel like if it wasn't for the Ring camera, we would not have known that Lily was outside because there was no food outside, no water. I didn't think she was coming home. I don't know how she found us, but she definitely knows what the Ring camera is. Every time the notification goes off, she'll look towards the door. She knows what she's doing.
How cute! Okay, hold up. Stop sharing. All right. So, what a cute little clip, right? That cat was so smart. All right. So, Taurus Moon, let's get into your reading. So spirit angels and guides, please come through for Taurus moon, which is Sarah, I believe, right, Sarah? I'm a Sarah too, so. Right? Look, my last cat that I won't talk about my last cat. I'll start to cry because I had to leave my last cat. It's like still traumatizing, but that reminds me something of Friday. My last cat, she totally would have done. So okay, so 6 cards. How does Klaus the Virgo feel about me? Ooh, Klaus, interesting name. Spirit angels and guides, please come through. The Taurus moon would like to know, how does Klaus the Virgo feel about them? How does Klaus, the Virgo feel towards Taurus moon? All right, what else? Okay, can I get 2 more, please? Perfect. Love it. Okay, so we have the King of Swords, the Hermit. So they could be a little shy or reserved. Okay, I definitely can sense that. The Moon reverse, I do like that though, because it's as though that they're going to start to reveal themselves a little bit more. Okay, yep. We feel that too with the 8 of Swords reverse, meaning they're becoming like less nervous energy, I would say. The 2 of Cups, hey. So if you're wondering if they like you romantically, I'm going to say for show, okay? And then we also have the 6 of Pentacles, meaning they're very giving, they're charitable, and they probably see you that way as well, because we are asking how they feel about you. But yeah, this is someone who, like I said, might come off a little shy, or they might have like a little bit of, awkwardness here or there. However, they definitely, they're ready to connect. So there you go on that first one. Y'all, I'm back. That was so weird. Maybe I should share my story. Oh man, that was so weird. So weird, right? Hold up. Now I'm all check your butt. And thank you, Darth, for that info for everybody. That was so weird. I've never had that happen in a life. Okay, so okay, I'm back again. This might be a long, short. Hold on. So hurry up. Let's get to the second question. I don't know what's going on. It's so weird, y'all. So yeah, fingers crossed on this. I might, you know what I might do right now, like just in case. Okay, if it happens again, I'm gonna connect to like my hotspot on my phone. All right, y'all. But okay, let's get to your second question, Taurus Moon. What does he want the outcome for us to be? Okay, what does he want that for the outcome for us? Okay, so 6 cards. All right. Dear angels and guides, please come through for Taurus Moon. What does Klaus want the outcome to be for them? All right. What else? Interesting. Okay. And one more. Thank you. Dang, 2 of Cups again. So this person. Okay. So first card, we have the Knight of Swords. We also have the Devil in reverse. Okay. We have the Magician in reverse. We also have the Page of Cups. We also have the 7 of Swords in reverse. And then we also have the 2 of Cups. And then there was an extra. We'll just call this the extra. 9 of Wands in reverse. Okay, so I'll throw that there. So, what do they really want? I feel like they really do want to heal with you. I don't know if you both have had like kind of bad past with exes or something to that degree, but the 7 of Swords and the Devil in reverse, it really suggests to me that you both have kind of had a past perhaps where you've been in negative cycles, okay? Whether it's a cycle of abuse or a cycle of just a relationship that was just not good for one another, okay, to put it simply. Also, I feel like they really do want like a loving, flirty relationship. And I mean that in a way that they still, because the Two of Cups has shown up twice now, so they obviously do want a relationship. But with this, I almost feel like they want flirtation, they want fun, and they want the newness of what's coming potentially, okay? So, having said that, we also have, okay, at the end we have the Magician reverse, followed by the Two of Cups reverse. So this to me says they're not expecting, and this too, the Nine of Wands reverse. I do feel like they do want your defenses to come down a little bit if you do have a wall up, okay? But they're not asking for anything like extra magical or out of the ordinary with this Magician reverse. Meaning, like, I feel as though it's more of a simpleness to how they regard perhaps relationships or like having that compatibility with someone. They just want someone that they could literally be friends with. And to me, I mean, that's an extraordinary quality to find in another person. So I'm going to say they want healing between the both of you, but also a relationship. So there you go, my dear. That's for your second one. That's true, huh? Melissa's was going out first. How weird. All right, so next question. How would he treat me in a romantic connection? I visit him in spring. Ooh, nice. Okay, very nice. All right, so Spirit Angels and guides, please come through for Sarah. Sarah would like to know, how would Klaus treat her in a romantic way, in a romantic connection? How did Klaus treat Sarah in a romantic relationship? All right, so we have the Four of Cups, the Queen of Cups in reverse. We also have the World, the King of Cups. So very emotionally supportive. However, I feel like you might find him a little boring at times, okay? 10 of Cups. And then we have the Seven of Wands. Okay, so he's got a little bit of this underdog energy, which I really, really like. That's just me personally, okay? But yeah, however, I will say this, okay? So how would he treat you romantically? The Four of Cups is this little bit of like nonchalant card, kind of like that's how I feel when I see the Four of Cups. It's a little bit nonchalant or melancholy, kind of like, oh, whatever, you know what I mean? So, which is funny though too, because then we have the King of Cups right under it, which is a very emotionally supportive card, and I would call the Four of Cups emotionally dull. Okay, so what I'm going to say is this person might romantically have moments where they might seem a little like non-responsive. However, I feel like for the most part with this King of Cups next to that Ten of Cups, this for the most part would be a supportive person. Okay, however, okay, another point I will say, the Queen of Cups reverse, either they believe that you're a little bit too sensitive or you believe that they are a little bit too sensitive. Okay, one of the two. And then we have the World, and like I said, the Seven of Wands. This kind of tells me this person is kind of, like I said, that underdog energy. They're willing to keep trying at a relationship, and they're willing to, if it's not perfect, they're willing to at least try to change certain things or work together with you in that regard, okay? So all in all, I'd say very positive in all three of those readings, okay? So there you go, my dear. And thank you again for your very kind donation/tip. I appreciate you. You know what? I sent home everybody that was in my chat last night. I sent them farewell with that message about Mercury being in retrograde and being funky. Yes, cross our fingers. I think it worked though. I think we got it, right? We got it. Whoop, 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 whoop. Knock on wood. Oh, but y'all, you guys, so Mercury in retrograde is exactly that. It's exactly, literally, it's about technology acting up. It's like one of the things that happens during Mercury in retrograde. So, again, knock on wood. So we shouldn't be surprised by it. Right? And you're very, very welcome. So the idea is because Mercury is the planet of communication and travel, okay? The idea is during Mercury in retrograde, some people will get this feeling like whatever, like they have word vomit. Does that make sense? Word vomit meaning like whatever they say comes out like really horrible. And sometimes it actually does, but it almost feels as though they have no control over it. So that's part of Mercury in retrograde, what happens. Okay. Also, like I said, a lot of technological issues, feeling as though you can't communicate to someone that you care or love, like without there being a fight or an argument. That is total Mercury in retrograde type stuff that happens. Is StreamYard messing up lately? Hmm. Expert, let's do your reading. Spirit angels and guides, please come through for expert. Any messages for expert right now? Any messages for expert at this time? Okay. Look at all this pink. No pun intended, but you see this Two of Cups and the Seven of Cups? This is all about getting creative, wink, wink, with your partner, with your love interest. This is about new things in the bedroom, exploring new things, going on dates, and being playful and flirtatious. Flirtatious? I said that funny. And being flirtatious with your significant other. So there you go, wink, wink, expert. I don't want to see no eggplants in the chat. Word vomit is what I'm a victim of my whole life. Mercury, you know what? Expert. I would be really, if you ever wanted to send me like the time and date that you were born, and then like whatever I'd have to know the city and state too. That way I had the your time of your time of birth, but also where which hemisphere you were in. I could find out exactly for you if you were actually born when Mercury was in retrograde. It's very interesting to find out stuff like that. Birth charts, though, I'm going to tell you guys, I've been working on birth charts for a little bit now. Whoo, they're extensive. They're like they're a whole other ball game. So I'd say I'm almost like semi to like low level familiar with them, but I do have a good like overview of birth charts. Yes, the birth chart stuff. Birth chart stuff is really fascinating, like extremely, because your own personal birth chart lets you know which each house, what each planet or what house each planet was in at the time of your birth. Okay, so let's say for example, the very first house in astrology is Aries. Okay, but what planet was in that house when I was born? Okay, so my planet happened to be in Taurus. Okay, so I'm a Taurus. We had the planet of, so Taurus is ruled by, we got to remember, Oh, okay. So the planet of Venus was in my first house at the time of my birth. Okay, what would that tell me about myself? Okay, so the that would tell me the first house placement, which is Aries. Okay, but the first house also indicates self motivation and really kind of the ignition, the self ignition of self and self power, the things that really start to begin to make you you. That is really a lot of what the first house represents. Okay, and then we have, if at the time of my birth, we have Venus in there, and Venus is the planet of love and beauty. What does that tell me? That tells me that a lot of my self-value might be placed on feeling loved and feeling beautiful. But also it could tell me too that I have a really keen eye for the beautiful things in life. Like I might be someone who really appreciates art and nature, things like that. So there's so much that could really be seen with your own birth chart. But yeah, if you ever want me to print you one, anyone that's in the chat, I don't mind doing it. You'd have to send me all your info though in my email, but I could print you one and send you one and kind of highlight some stuff for you, or you could do it yourself. But sometimes you'll look at a birth chart and you're just like, huh? Like what does this mean? So it really is. It's like speaking another language. I gotta admit. You were not born under a bad sign. Yes, they are. They're very fascinating. That's how I am too, Melissa. Like I'm a Taurus, but I don't feel like a Taurus. You probably feel more like your moon sign or like your numerological number. Right, hold on. I have, now that we're talking about birth charts, y'all, I have my own birth chart. I could give you a little example, okay? Where's it at? I only know because I saw it recently and I was like, oh yeah, I still have this like right here. I'm taking so many like little notes and stuff like that. Oh yeah, I have this lady. I gotta send out hers too. Now that I just saw that, yikes! It's been a minute since I sent that, or I should have sent it. Okay, so look, here's mine. Okay, this is your birth chart, or my birth chart. Let me move some stuff, but just for an example. So I'm going to show you the chart. However, then I'm going to kind of break it down, okay? Or kind of break it down a little bit. Just as an example so you guys can see like how like in depth it can really go. Okay, so here's just a picture. Here's an example of my birth chart, y'all. You see all that? Okay, so right up here would be the first though, okay? And then you go around. However, though, so like good thing about when you do print one off, so let's say we're starting in the first house, okay? Let's go through the first house. So, hold on, where would that be at? Okay, there it is. Hold on. So that's the 7th. Is that the 12th? Hold on. Freaking numbers always F me up. That's what she said. Okay, so let's start here. So look, like the second house so look, if you look at the second house right here, right? Hold on. Oh, no, let me move this stupid candle, y'all. I mean, this nice candle. I like candles. Okay, so the second house would represent Taurus. That's like the house of wealth, money, and loyalty. So look, I have Virgo in the second house. Look, so second house is the area of material security, all right, and value. So it gives you an overview. So Virgo on the second house, okay, may worry about money and may not be especially generous with it unless she is very comfortable. House and sign placement of Mercury, which is Virgo, can show money making channels and basic talents. Okay, so then we could go to Libra in the third house, which I have Libra in the third house. So Libra, what planet is Libra? I can't think of what planet Libra is. Okay, what planet is Libra? That's bugging me now. Okay, so she seeks refined people with whom to have long discussions without raised voices of any kind. Harmony and peace is very important. In early life, she worried that her siblings were getting along or weren't getting along, I guess. But it goes on and on and on. So it can tell you quite a bit of yourself. But like I said, it is divided into 12 different sections. So you'd start up here at the 1, and then you go all the way around till you get back to 12. And then you have this thing in your chart that's another thing that'll freaking freak you out is you have these things called they're called squares. Well, this is what you could have. There's a few different things, but there's squares, there's trines. Is that what it's called? Trines, sextiles, conjunctions, and oppositions. So look, I'm telling you, it's so much research. So like right here, I have a sextile in Neptune at 86 degrees. Hold on. Okay, so you see my sextile in Neptune, and it is with the planet Pluto and Neptune. Okay, at 86 degrees. That's a sextile. I have a trine with my North Node and Neptune at 3 degrees. Like this whole, it makes up so much stuff. However, though, I do encourage people to get it if they, if it's something they want to research and whatnot. But there you go. Hi, Cake. How are you? I'm talking about birth charts. I know I probably bored everybody half to death, but we're on the subject, and it really is fascinating and really interesting. And people that study astrology need to be, I feel like they gotta be given a little bit more respect because astrology, and if you're someone who does someone's personal, like their actual birth chart, you are dipping into so much stuff. It's incredible. So, but yeah, so there you go. There's just an example of like what you get when you do print out like your birth chart type thing. And Cake, do you want a reading? Yeah, they do. They do. That's like I said, like the 8 degrees, 36, and then once you find out what the sextiles mean, what the trines mean, I used to call them trinities. And then sometimes you'll have squares, you'll have conjunctions. Now, conjunctions are looked at pretty well and pretty balanced type of energies that come through. There's certain ones that are so it's interesting too because at the end of your chart you'll see 2 different numbers that kind of excess the total number of degrees you have on one side versus the other. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Okay, you got it. Hold up. Let's see if it. Let me stop my camera and restart it. I still feel like it's like, okay, that's better. All right. So, for you, Cake or ... Any messages for Cake at this current time or ... Messages for Cake currently. General messages for Cake. Okay. All right. So we have the 10 of Cups reversed, the King of Pentacles, and then we have the 9 of Pentacles reversed. So I feel like there's a little bit of dismay within the family or within like someone, a group or something like that. I really feel like it's family or like a work family type environment. Okay. Um, this is about like a little bit of dysfunction going on. However, what's interesting is I feel like if there's a boss involved or like someone who's kind of like the head honcho per se, um, they could kind of be the one giving out this are giving out an energy that kind of may be feeling negative to others. However, though, I do feel like their intentions are good because they're upright, okay? And then we also have the message, the Nine of Pentacles reverse. The Nine of Pentacles reverse is like really a message almost like money doesn't buy happiness, okay? And that could reflect on this King of Pentacles as well. However, I feel like your general message is okay, you might not be getting along with people at home or at work. That's okay. Know that whoever's kind of causing the issue, it's not really their intent to do that. However, it might not be a bad idea to point it out to them, all right? So there you go. But it's nothing too serious or anything like that. There's only pie. How could you say that? It says, I checked the word death off my name as Mr. Mallory was unnerved. Okay. All right, y'all. You ready for the video I was going to share earlier? Wait, no, I got to do Darth. Darth, I'm going to do your reading. So spirit angels and guides, please go through for a reading for Darth. Messages for Darth at this current time. Any messages for Darth today? Okay. Woo, Darth. All right. So we have the tower. You had the tower yesterday as well. Okay. And we also have the King of Swords in reverse. And then we have the Ten of Swords. Okay. So there's no way to sugarcoat it. You feel stabbed in the back. Okay. You feel stabbed in the back. And I feel like it's almost, when I say it, I feel like there's no need to sugarcoat it. You've been, you feel that way. And it's okay to say it. Okay. However, though, I'm going to say this as well. The King of Swords reverse is telling me something really, really meaningful here. It's saying, words are meaningful, right? And that your words are meaningful as well, okay? There's an impact with what you say and who you say it to. And I feel as though you already know that. However, I feel like my interpretation here would be to understand that just because you're hurting, okay, it's going to sound corny, but even when we're hurting, that can be a reason that sometimes we might lash out verbally, okay? And I'm not saying that's good or bad because this is the no judgment zone, just so you know. You already know that. However, though, it is what it is. And I feel when all three of these are coming out at me, it's an acknowledgement of how you feel and to be okay with acknowledging it, okay? So there you go, my dear. And Jen with no filter. Hello, how have you been? I haven't seen you in quite a while. If you would like a reading, go ahead, type your question into the chat, Jen with no filter. Or if you just want a general reading, I will pull you a few cards, okay? You didn't see the Nine of Cups in reverse, so you're good. You're good. What would cheesecake be, y'all? Because that's probably my favorite is cheesecake. Yum. Oh, your check's in the mail, Jen with no filter. Look at you. hold on. Really? Really, Darth? You really feel that way? Cheesecake is closer to ice cream? Darth, come on. Closer to ice cream? Am I the only one who thinks that's an odd statement? Come on, Darth. Darth, come on, my man. It's closer to ice cream? Really? Uh, I don't know about that one. I just don't know how I feel about that statement. I don't know. Okay, maybe like a whipped dessert. Yeah, that I can actually see. That makes more sense. Good job. And Cool Frog, welcome, Cool Frog. You are here. So, Spirit Angels and Guides, please come through for a reading for Cool Frog. Any messages for Cool Frog for the week? Anything in general? He needs to know. Okay. All right. So you got the Four of Pentacles in reverse and the Magician in reverse. Okay, so this might be a week where you're like trying to think of new and creative ways to either save money or make money. Okay, and the Magician in reverse tells me like you feel as though like you're off. Maybe you're not on the right track. Okay, or that you're kind of out of ideas, or you're just kind of waiting on something. Um, However, though, we have the Ace of Wands. Okay, so this is good. The Ace of Wands is an indicator that to kind of see some ideas through, okay, especially the ones you feel most like excited about or impassioned with. And also, I'm going to say this, I'm going to throw my own 2 cents in here because I was on your live the other night. Okay, Cool Frog. I feel, well, I know you haven't been monetized yet, but you are at your 1,000 mark. Don't be afraid to tell someone like, hey, if you want to support the channel, support me. I know after a minute I did get like your buy me a coffee in the chat, and I was able to click on that. But I feel like for you here in the cards, it's almost saying don't be ashamed to throw that out there to let everybody know how they can support you, because people do want to support the people they like. Okay, it's easy as that, as simple as that. However, though, I feel like mostly this is coming through to say to make money, to save money. Don't disregard any new ideas you might be having in your head in regards to shows as well. So keep exploring and don't necessarily dismiss anything right away. Okay. So there you go, my dear. And be right back. Y'all give me 1 sec. No, I wasn't on his stream, Darth. I was like in his chat, silly. Okay, be right back. 1 second, y'all. And hello, Bev C. How are you? Good to see you. And thank you, Bev. Appreciate you. Hold on. Who lost sound? Can y'all hear me? Let me know in chat if you guys can hear me. Hold on. You guys can't hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Hold on. How did I lose sound? Not you, Darth. You're killing me. You're fine. Okay, good. I can hear you. All right. That was great. I'm like, hold on, who can't? Oh, Beverly C. Maybe you just meant you've lost sound, or that you've lost sound in your ear. In my right ear, I swear, I'm like at least 70% deaf. My poor boyfriend, when he talks to me, he's like, he gets pissed all the time. He's like, I just told you such and such. I'm like, I'm fucking dumb, deaf, and blind. What do you expect? But yeah, literally, like my right ear, I swear there's like, and then look, when I lay down at night, okay, this might be TMI, but when I lay down at night, like when I put my ear like to the pillow, my right ear, I swear I hear a washer machine in my ear. I'm like, this is not good. I'm like literally deaf in this right ear, or like that must be the noise of right before you lose all sound in your ear. It's a washer machine. It's like whoosh, 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 going through the gentle cycle. Oh, that's hilarious. I cracked myself up. All right, so Beverly C. Let's see. What do you see coming towards me in the next few weeks? All right, Spirit Angels and Guides, please come through for Beverly C. Spirit Angels and Guides. What do we see coming towards Beverly C for the next few weeks? Next few weeks for Beverly C. All right. Okay, anything else? All right, two more, please. We'll take those. All right. Let's see what we got. So we have the Seven of Wands, or Seven of Swords, sorry, my apologies. Wait, no, that's the Eight of Swords. Gosh, see, I am blind, y'all. The Eight of Pentacles in reverse. The Two of Cups. We also have the Eight of Cups. So the Eight of Swords and the Eight of Cups. This is interesting. Dang, and then you got the Eight of Wands. You know, eight's my favorite number. FYI, y'all. But, and look, hold on. This is very interesting. You have 7, 8, 8, and 8. Huh. Okay, then we have the Seven of Swords. Okay, so, okay, all right. So I feel, I guess we'll start at the first week. So the first week, because you said the next few weeks or so, right? We'll go 1, 2, 3, all right? So within the next week or so, we have that Eight of Swords and the Seven of Cups, okay? So I feel like creativity-wise, or, you know, perhaps in like a hobby or something like that, any creative projects you might have, I feel like you're hard on yourself. You have anxiety about the things you create, or perhaps you want to create, or you're very hesitant on starting to create things that perhaps maybe you've dreamt about or thought about doing. Okay. And so it's kind of like, should you move on? Should you not move on? And I feel like a lot of your worry for this next week is just worry. And I feel like you need to kind of just like make a conscious effort to release that. Okay. And then we come over here through the second week. We have the Eight of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. This is funny. I don't know if you're currently working. However, if you are, I feel like it's going to be a tough week. Not this week, but the following. Okay. I'm saying that because we have the Eight of Wands, which is a lot of like very, very, very fast energy. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles reverse, which is just like total lazy energy. Like, huh? What? I got to get up now type energy. So if perhaps you are working or we're planning on working next week, I feel so there's going to be a lot of like kind of headbutting type energy, to where there's going to be a lot of work coming in, or a lot of fast pacedness coming in through, the job, the career, and you're just kind of like sitting there like, huh, what? You're feeling a really bit lazy. So make sure you maybe, take some cocaine with you, take some Red Bull with you on your way to work. Just kidding about the cocaine part, okay? But make sure that you're up and you have some energy before you do go to work if you are employed, okay? Like in like a 9 to 5 type setting, or even if you have a job from home, I feel like things are going to get really, really busy, okay? So be mindful of that. Or if perhaps you live with someone who you support, like a roommate or supports you, or vice versa. I want to say that too, just in case, because the Two of Cups does connect through here. And then now we come through to the third week. Okay, so after this following week, through the third week, we have the Two of Cups and the Seven of Swords. So there's going to be some disappointment coming through, either with someone you have a crush on, someone that you work with, someone that's like a really good friend, someone that you definitely have trusted. Okay, so I almost want to say too, because like you see this 8 and 7 facing each other, like she's walking right into it. I almost feel like you just don't see it coming. It's nothing like, don't get over the top like concerned about it, meaning like it might not be the worst thing in the world or anything like that. However, there's just like a little bit of there's some pain going in there. There's going to be some deception amongst either a friend, someone that's a crush, or someone that's a coworker, someone that perhaps you have had trusted in the past, and their true colors. Sorry about that, but their true colors are going to be displayed soon. Okay, so there you go, my dear. And thank you very much for your very kind donation / tip. I appreciate you. Good thing I'm not monetized. Can I get a whoop whoop for not being monetized yet? Whoop whoop, whoop whoop, whoop whoop. And you're so very, very welcome, Beverly C. No problem. Oh, changing job role. Interesting. Okay. All right, y'all. So hold up. I've been talking to both Darth and both Melissa earlier. I got them all set up for this like video I was gonna share with them, and then I knocked them down. So I'm gonna be sharing this video in just a sec. Okay, YouTube. It's not. Hold on, that's not a banned word. It's not like we're actually doing anything. These are jokes. YouTube, get a grip, right? Right? Get a grip. Get a grip. It's not like I have some Tylenol over here. I'm about to crush up. No, just kidding. Yay! Oh, look, Melissa's yay. Okay, so anyone that is here in the chat, if you have if you need a reading or something, just let me know in the chat. However, it is a light chat tonight. There's only 3 people that I see in chat. Okay, and earlier when it was kind of light before everything got cut off, I was talking to both Darth and Melissa about sharing this really interesting video. This creator, it's about like what is it called? What did I tell y'all again? It's called like unfortunate fates or something like that. So hold on, let me find it. I know you two are silly. I know that, Lovey. Yeah, it's probably the expert or Beverly. So if y'all want to come along with the trip, come on. We're inviting you, okay? Darth, Melissa, encourage them to come on the magic carpet ride. Yep, ride or die tonight. See, exactly. Tell them, come on. You want to come? Okay, come on. She's done her readings. We're now gonna go on the ride, y'all. Come on. Keep your arms and legs within the whatever it's called, the thingy, the McBob. All right, you guys, let me know if I'm sharing effectively because I don't share often. So just let me know, okay, y'all? And Darth, can you do me a favor if you don't mind? If you can hear me, Darth, please drop this dude's link in the chat if you can. If you would, I would so appreciate it, Darth. The name of his channel is Scary Interesting. So everyone that is watching, this is from Scary Interesting. I really like this guy. I like his voice. And there's some really interesting stories on here. So yes. So yes, he's got a lot of subs. So I wonder if people often like share his stuff. So let's see how long. And I always go a little bit like quicker. So, but if someone can share his link, Darth, since you have the wrench, Scary Interesting is the channel. And let me know if y'all can see it, and I will play the video. Just give me a thumbs up. Yeah, hold on. I am sharing. Can you guys see it? Let me know. It looks like you guys can. And yes, I'm sharing right now. So the name of he has like something like 300 or 400,000 subs. He's got a lot of subs. He really does. I just looked at that. But yeah, so yes, he's got tons. He's got tons, Darth. I just noticed that. Oh, thank you. You're awesome. Thank you, Darth. You're the best. Angel, stick around. Angel, we're watching a video. Angel, if you have a question, you could still stay here. I know that you like interesting stuff, Angel, so stick with us, okay? This is a channel called Scary Interesting, and he does a lot of videos about like some unfortunate events. Okay, so we're gonna watch this. Everyone, give me a thumbs up if everybody's on board, and I will hit play. Okay. All right, awesome. So everyone give me a thumbs up. I'm going to press play. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear and see everything okay, all right?
In history that are so horrific and seem so unlikely that no one would believe they happened if not for the fact that people were around to witness them. And with that said, today's final story involves a particularly gruesome incident that is now thankfully lost to time. So, welcome to another collection of horrible fates, and as always, viewer discretion is advised. At 8:20 a.m. on June 10, 1990, a BAC 111 Series 528 airplane took off from Birmingham Airport en route to Malaga, Spain. The plane was piloted by 42-year-old Timothy Lancaster and co-piloted by 39-year-old Alistair Atchison, who had almost 20,000 flight hours between them and 1,000 each on that.
Okay, real quick, if you guys do want me to pause, or if y'all missed something, or just want to pause to like make a comment or something, or if you have a question, let me know and I will pause it, okay? So.
Specific plane. So in other words, not only were they highly experienced, but they At 8:20 a.m. on June 10, 1990, a BAC 111 Series 528 airplane took off from Birmingham Airport en route to Malaga, Spain. The plane was piloted by 42-year-old Timothy Lancaster and co-piloted by 39-year-old Alistair Atchison, who had almost 20,000 flight hours between them and 1,000 each on that specific plane. So in other words, not only were they highly experienced, but they were also very familiar with the plane that they were piloting for this flight. In addition to the 2 pilots, there were 4 cabin crew and 81 passengers for a total of 87 people on board. Shortly after takeoff, the co-pilot gave control of the plane to the pilot to complete the next leg of the journey, and with a successful takeoff, they each reached over and released their harnesses to get more comfortable. After that, the pilot loosened up his lap belt as well as he prepared for a relatively unremarkable and routine trip south across the Atlantic. Once the plane had leveled off a little bit from their initial steep ascent, the cabin crew started to get ready for meal service, which in this case, on the morning flight, would be breakfast. Then, at 8:33 a.m., now 13 minutes after takeoff, there was a massive bang that echoed across the cabin that seemed to be louder near the front. Immediately following the noise, condensation mist filled the cabin, which is a telltale.
Okay, so real quick, I just want to say this. Picture you're somebody who... A picture if you're actually somebody... So I've never been afraid of flying. I don't know if some of you have. If you have, let me know in the chat. But picture, it's 13 minutes after takeoff. And takeoff and landing is usually that kind of like crazy in between when, it's got, the turbulence and everything. So picture right after takeoff when you're, already done with all the little minor turbulence and everything seems to be calm and you've already like ascended to a good level. All of a sudden feeling and hearing that huge bang. Ugh.
The telltale sign of explosive decompression. This is when a pressurized system, in this case the plane, had some leak that caused the internal pressure to drop rapidly. The cabin crew quickly looked around to see if any of the emergency doors had been opened or if there'd been a window blown or something, but they found nothing. So next, one of them opened the flight deck door to where the pilots were and saw that the pilot had his entire torso sticking up out of the front windscreen. The only reason that he hadn't been sucked out entirely was that his knees had gotten caught on the flight controls. 27 hours earlier, during routine maintenance, the windscreen of the plane was installed with 90 bolts. 84 out of the total 90 were slightly too small, and so because of the pressure difference between the cabin and the low pressure at high altitude, the windscreen had literally blown off of the plane at 17,000 feet up. And because the pilot was now in the extreme winds of a plane at full speed, his grip was quickly slipping. The crew member rushed over to him and bear hugged his waist to keep him inside while the co-pilot attempted to land the plane. But when the windscreen...
How is that even possible? I'm sorry, I just paused it again, but how is it even possible? You picture that where, the pilot's at, that window area or door being ripped off and holding on to him for dear life in that wind all the way like 20,000 feet or whatever. Oh my gosh. Wow. I couldn't even picture that. I did see that both Expert and Darth, you're both kind of not okay with flying. Darth said though it's because of the airport.
Windscreen blew off. It caused stuff to fly all over the place. And one of these objects got jammed over the middle console of a plane at full speed. His grip was quickly slipping. The crew member rushed over to him and bear hugged his waist to keep him inside while the co-pilot attempted to land the plane. But when the windscreen blew off, it caused stuff to fly all over the place, and one of these objects got jammed over the middle console, covering the radio and navigation and jamming the throttle down. This also disengaged the autopilot, so now the plane was not only descending rapidly, but it was also actually speeding up. Finally, another member of the crew moved the object out of the way, allowing the co-pilot to regain some control of the plane. He got the plane on course again and kept ascending to an altitude where the pressure was such that the pilot, who was still hanging out of the front window, would have enough oxygen to breathe. Then once they descended a little bit, the co-pilot re-engaged the autopilot so that he could send out a distress call. Meanwhile, inside of the cabin, the other crew members announced for everyone to put their seatbelts on and get into the emergency position. But with all the chaos going on up front, the pilots weren't able to explain anything to the passengers, so all they would have known was that there was some loud bang and then heard the sound of wind rushing into the plane as it made several odd and unusual maneuvers. Inside of the flight deck though, this wind was so loud that the co-pilot couldn't hear anything the air traffic controllers were saying. He couldn't hear the emergency procedure, he couldn't hear the landing instructions, he couldn't hear anything. And as if things couldn't get any worse, the crew who had been bear hugging the pilot was starting to...
Okay, so this is when it gets into like a weird, unfortunate fate, I'm assuming. I don't know if I've seen this one. I feel like I have, but now I'm listening. I don't know if I have. So at the time, you have the regular pilots just, almost like they have him by the ankle, literally out the freaking airplane, okay? And this poor assistant or co-pilot, sorry, this co-pilot, it's so loud in there, okay? It's so loud he can't even hear directions from on his headphones from what's it called, like headquarters, or no, there's a word for it, but you know what I mean. He can't even hear directions, commands from the flight safety center or whatever it may be called. That's got to be so freaking wild. That's just so crazy. Hopefully he was experienced. I'm hoping. Let's cross our fingers, y'all.
Was starting to get tired, and his grip was also starting to slip. He called for the other crew members to help him, and they were able to switch with him and grab the pilot. But in the switch, the pilot slipped even further out of.
So real quick, Angel asked, when did this happen? They said 1999, and I believe it was a flight from Spain to, I forgot where the flight was going to, but I want to say it left Spain, but I do know the year was 1990, okay? So well into the years that they've had planes going for quite a while now, or at that time, you know what I mean?
Out of the plane. Now basically all but his ankles were sticking up out of the front, and his body was flapping in the wind, causing him to bang his head repeatedly on the exterior surface. During all of this, the crew even assumed that he was dead, but were instructed by the co-pilot to hold on to him because of the sound of wind rushing into the plane as it made several odd and unusual maneuvers. Inside of the flight deck, though, this wind was so loud that the co-pilot couldn't hear anything the air traffic controllers were saying. He couldn't hear the emergency procedure, he couldn't hear the landing instructions, he couldn't hear anything. And as if things couldn't get any worse, the crew who had been bear hugging the pilot was starting to get tired, and his grip was also starting to slip. He called for the other crew members to help him, and they were able to switch with him and grab the pilot. But in the switch, the pilot slipped even further out of the plane. Now basically all but his ankles were sticking up out of the front, and his body was flapping in the wind, causing him to bang his head repeatedly on the exterior surface. During all of this, the crew even assumed that he was dead, but were instructed by the co-pilot to hold on to him, because if they let go, he could impact the wing or the engine and cause a potentially even more catastrophic incident. Finally, the co-pilot was able to hear traffic control and head in for an emergency landing at a different airport. Then, at 8:55 a.m., the wheels of the plane touched down, and the plane successfully landed. The pilot spent 22 minutes in the extreme wind and cold, hanging by essentially just his ankles out of the front of the plane. In it, he had gotten frostbite, he broke his right arm and wrist, and he was in shock, but he was otherwise okay. There is actually even a picture of this that was taken of him at some point during the landing, and it shows just how far of the plane window he was.
Wow, you guys, he survived. Like, wow. That's amazing. Kudos to him.
I couldn't acquire the proper licensing to show the image here, but a quick Google search will get you that image. It almost looks fake because of how precarious the position was that he was in. Later, an investigation into the incident found that the bolts had actually been replaced incorrectly on the previous flight. Had this been caught, this would have prevented the windscreen from blowing out at all. The cabin crew involved were all awarded for their heroic effort to hold on to the pilot, and the co-pilot was awarded for his airmanship. And ultimately, other than the injury suffered by the pilot, everyone else on board was completely unharmed.
That's 100% a miracle. Okay, so this is one story, and I think it's going to start one more. Yeah, the
Before
lighthouse.
lighthouses could be controlled mostly remotely, the job of a lighthouse keeper was crucial to keeping lighthouses operational. Not only are lighthouses important for basic navigation, but they also help ships navigate in the dark and prevent them from running into...
Okay, so again, real quick, y'all, this guy is... Hold on, what's his name again? I just want to double check. Yeah, Scary Interesting. Go sub to him if you have it. He's got a really good channel. But yes, go sub to him. This is the second story about the lighthouse keeper. So hold on, let me restart it real quick. Sorry, y'all.
Lighthouses operational. Not only are lighthouses important for basic navigation, but they also help ships navigate in the dark and prevent them from running into sometimes hidden rocks under the water surface. Even today, lighthouses have individuals who stay there or visit on a semi-regular basis to perform maintenance and ensure they're working correctly. This is a bit easier with modern technology, but throughout history, lighthouse keepers often had to live in them for extended periods of time. Sometimes this was with other people, and sometimes this was in extreme isolation in remote locations. And because these are on the coast or even out from the coast on island.
Hold on, Expert just said something really weird. Have y'all seen how expensive handcuff keys are? It's ridiculous. Sorry, shopping while listening. I guess you took my advice, said wink. Hold on, how much the keys are? Why would you buy them separate? Wouldn't you get them like together? I'm just curious. But okay. Let's continue, y'all.
Islands, oftentimes they'd be stuck to weather whatever waves or storms rolled through the area. Along the English and Welsh coasts, there were several famous families who served as lighthouse keepers, and it was considered somewhat of a family tradition. The role of keeper was passed down over generations to the point that a single family would have hundreds of years unbroken where someone in the family was a keeper. One of these families was the Hall family, and one of the individuals from this family who was a keeper was a man named Henry Hall. Born in 1661, Henry worked in a lighthouse known as the Eddystone Lighthouse for a number of years later in his life. This particular lighthouse is built on an outcropping of rocks about 14 kilometers south of the coast of Cornwall, England. These are considered to be particularly dangerous because they're either fully submerged or just out of the water, making it easy for ships to miss them when navigating the area. As with many of these spots, it took an eventual shipwreck to discover them before a lighthouse could finally be built. And the first one that was built on these rocks was known as Winstanley's Lighthouse, which stood for just 5 years before a massive storm basically erased it from the earth. Days later, when a boat went to check on the men, the lighthouse was just gone and the 6 men inside were never seen again. With the remoteness of the Eddystone rocks, the men were completely at the mercy of the ocean, which was unfortunately too fierce for the building. In fact, lighthouse construction requires a very specific build to withstand how strong the wind and waves can get in bad storm.
And just to FYI, I'm going to throw this out there because I've kind of heard and learned a lot of history about lighthouses. The very early stages of lighthouses, they didn't really realize, in my opinion, the power of the ocean and the wind. And there was like a lot of like little tiny, like little island lighthouses, I would even call them, where they're just literally on a rock in the middle of the freaking like the middle of like the most horrific, most like powerful, ocean, like tides and stuff like that you could even imagine. So I feel like at first, and from everything we see in history, a lot of lighthouses were not built well enough to withstand the ocean. Now it's a different story, though. We try not to underestimate Mother Nature as much, hopefully, right?
At storms. It took a long time to get this right, and lighthouse keepers paid with their lives until this was perfected.
Exactly.
Following its destruction, a new lighthouse was constructed called Rudyard's Lighthouse, which had a new smooth stone surface that curved upward. This shape is crucial to dispersing the force of the waves and keeping the lighthouse from being destroyed. Its base was 63 feet of stone and wood, and then there was an additional 4 stories of living quarters, supply rooms, and then the beacon on top that gave it a total height of almost 100 feet. And this new construction would work great from its completion in 1708 for almost 50 years until one fateful night. On December 2nd, 1755, the now 94-year-old Henry Hall manned the beacon room of the lighthouse. Around 2 a.m., he woke up to find that the lamp used to light the beacon had ignited the roof of the lighthouse. He immediately started grabbing buckets of water and started throwing them up toward the ceiling, but with it being almost 10 feet above him,
he caught the lighthouse.
He yelled down to the other men who were manning the lighthouse with him, and soon all 3 of them tried desperately to put out the fire. Eventually, the fire was big enough that it started to melt some of the metal construction, and the molten lead started raining down on the men. The scorching metal landed over Henry's body and his face and his shoulders and burned him horribly, but despite the burns, they continued to put out the fire. At one point, Henry lifted his head to survey how bad it had gotten, and molten lead dripped down and right into his open mouth and almost directly down his throat. He screamed out to the others that it felt like his insides were on fire, and realizing that the fire was out of control now.
Did you guys hear that? Oh my God. So he accidentally lights the thing on fire, and then all this melting stuff goes straight into his mouth. Oh.
Now, they escaped down below to one of the other levels. They sheltered there as debris continued to rain down, and over the next 5 days, the fire slowly engulfed the entire building. Finally, one morning, they were noticed by a passing boat, but the boat couldn't get close to the shore to dock because of how rough the water was. Instead, the crew threw some rope over to the men, which they then tied to their waists and were finally pulled to safety. Henry and the others were taken to Plymouth, and Henry was finally treated by a surgeon. At this point, Henry could still barely speak because of his burns, but would be able to tell the surgeon that he had swallowed lead in the fire. This caused him to be an immense amount of stomach pain, in addition to the severe burns on the left side of his face and body.
This poor guy.
Horribly, the doctor thought that Henry's story was so unlikely, and that Henry was so unlikely to survive this, that he dismissed it because of Henry's age. He figured he was simply senile and making outlandish claims as a result.
They thought he lied.
In any case, when the men first got to the hospital there, Henry was still able to eat and drink, and by the 6th day, his condition seemed to be improving. Unfortunately, the following day, he continued to decline, and then just a couple of days later, he died after a series of seizures. Then, despite the doctor's initial disbelief, he performed an autopsy on Henry and discovered that not...
That's so sad when the story is like so horrific that the doctor won't believe you. Oh, this poor guy. This poor guy. And then he was getting better and then fucking died. Oh my gosh, this poor dude. Oh man.
That not only did he have burns on the inside of his digestive tract, but he also had 7 ounces or 200 grams of lead in his stomach.
Oh my gosh, that seems like a
Unfortunately,
lot.
as well, even if the doctor had believed him, the amount of lead he ingested would have been fatal, even if it had been removed. Then, in an ironic turn of events, following the doctor's report, he wasn't believed by other doctors due to how unlikely it all seemed.
Wow.
The Eddystone Lighthouse now stands just a few feet from the original spot.
Okay, so just real quick, did you guys hear that? So this doctor didn't believe his patient, and now other doctors won't believe or didn't believe the doctor about what had happened to this guy. Oh man, that's so insane to me. Wow.
Original spot on a different rock and is still operational today.
Okay, I
In
think this is the
1851, a treaty was
last
signed between the
one.
United States federal
Hold
government
on.
and several Native American tribes. This treaty outlined a number of things, including where the boundaries were for each of these.
Okay, y'all, I think this is the last story, and then Angel, I will get to your question, okay, babe? You seem to be liking the video, so I think we're all good. Again, this is Scary Interesting. That's the name of the channel. Go sub up to him. And, okay, let's roll.
Groups. So the land boundaries for the states and then the land boundaries for the Native Americans. And what they agreed was that the U.S. would be other doctors due to how unlikely it all seemed. The Eddystone Lighthouse now stands just a few feet from the original spot on a different rock and is still operational today. In 1851, a treaty was signed between the United States federal government and several Native American tribes. This treaty outlined a number of things, including where the boundaries were for each of these groups. So the land boundaries for the states and then the land boundaries for the Native Americans. And what they agreed was that the U.S. would be right up to about Kansas, and then the native land would extend west from.
So this history with Native Americans I find really fascinating. I really, really do.
There, all the way to the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. Unfortunately, just 7 years later, in 1858, gold was discovered in the Rocky Mountains, causing an influx of American immigrants to the area. This caused tension in the already strained relationship between the two groups, as they now had to compete for the resources in the area. In addition to that, some of these individuals who had traveled west for the gold rush just settled down rather than leaving after they had finished. Obviously, the natives weren't happy about this, but instead of respecting the native lands and asking the newly settled residents to leave the area, the US government simply pressured the native chiefs to renegotiate the land boundaries. So in 1861, only 10 years after the first treaty, a new deal was put in place that reduced the original land area of the tribes to just 1/13 of what it had been prior.
That's effed up. Just saying.
And again, understandably, some of the natives were very angry about this. You have to imagine that either the terms were unclear or there was some deception or corruption, because clearly this deal heavily favored the US government. And so following this agreement, some of the native tribes just refused the terms of the deal and continued to live and hunt on the lands that they called home. And from then on, tensions drastically increased between the two groups. That same year was also the start of the American Civil War, so many of the government military forces were diverted elsewhere around the country. Without an armed presence to protect the roads, towns, and people, there were a number of attacks carried out by the natives on the individuals who they felt were encroaching on land that was rightfully theirs. These started off as minor conflicts, but escalated to large attacks where settlers were killed, supplies and livestock were stolen, and settlements were burned. By 1864, things had escalated to an alarming degree, with large-scale attacks now coming from both sides. By this point, there had been hundreds of deaths.
I like that he does include that because, I mean, there was so much war going on between these Native Americans and the first U.S. settlers, and as we all probably know, they came into their land and, took over the land. And you could say, I think it's easy to say too, oh, they were horrible to the Native Americans. And they kind of, they really were, honestly. However, though, there's a lot of complexity to this. I feel like there's a lot of layers of history in that. However, I will say this. I will never fuck with a Native American ever. Ever, ever. Have you ever been to or heard of a place that was haunted by like a Native American burial ground? Just don't fuck with the Native American. That is my advice to everybody in the world, because you do not want that juju on you. That is like really, really ancient juju stuff that's like, it will stick with you. Just don't do it. Don't mess with Native Americans. Don't do it. Okay?
Of deaths from either force, and oftentimes this was done indiscriminately, involving innocent women and children. Frequently as well, these were brutal attacks that were not quick and not painless. At the end of June of that year, a caravan was contracted by the government to carry supplies from a fort in East Kansas to another fort in New Mexico. Knowing how bad the tension was and how frequent the attacks were, the caravan owner all but refused unless the government assured him that he'd receive no liability in the event that the items were lost. Then, with part of the payment he received for the transport, he went searching for men to act as an armed escort, but even this wasn't easy. Many of the men who'd normally be keen for this type of work were also afraid of getting attacked out on the roads. Because you have to remember, these weren't actual trains. These were wagon trains, which were essentially horse-drawn cars on dirt roads. They weren't very fast, and they didn't offer much protection. One of the individuals he managed to enlist for this transport was a teenage orphan named Robert McGee. Robert and his parents had migrated westward in hopes of a better life, but tragically, they had died of some unknown cause along the way. Following the death of his parents, Robert tried to join the army, but he was refused because he was too young. Then, when the war broke out, even the group that offered him shelter had disbanded, leaving him more or less wandering and homeless when the caravan was being put together. But the caravan owner was desperate for help, so Robert was hired.
So he was literally like an orphan, like a for real orphan. Wow.
Placed in the front section with the goods instead of as part of the true armed escort section at the back, again, because of his age. Then on July 1st, the caravan set off to make the 700-mile journey to New Mexico. At best, they could travel about 16 miles a day, so they'd be looking at a month and a half at least of travel. In the first few weeks, there weren't really any issues other than some small conflicts. The armed escort seemed to be enough to dissuade any potential threats, and there wasn't even a single casualty. Almost 3 weeks later, on the 18th of July, the group had gotten around 2/3 of the way across Kansas. They stopped to make camp a few miles away from a military establishment known as Fort Larned and assumed because of how close they were to the base, there would be an even smaller chance of an attack. In midsummer in that area, the weather is already scorching, and that day was even hotter than usual, so the group decided to make camp early and get inside and out of the sun. The way they had everything set up was that the caravan was a bit ahead, and then the military escort was about a mile back. Unfortunately, it seems that either by chance or because they had been watched and followed, at around 5 p.m., a group of 150 natives on horseback rode into the area and mercilessly attacked the front section of the caravan. Because they were caught off guard, they had essentially no time to react, and soon everyone in the front section had been killed. And as was unfortunately common, these were brutal encounters that were not quick and not painless. Even the military escort, despite the fact that that's what they'd been hired to do, refused to come and assist the group. This could be construed as cowardly.
Jeez, he refused? Okay, wowzers.
But in fact, it might have saved an additional dozens of lives at the hands of an overwhelmingly large force. Later that day, scouts from the nearby fort learned of the attack and alerted the commanding officer. He then sent out some additional scouts to see what happened, and what they found was like something out of a nightmare. They arrived at the scene about 2 hours after the attack and found bodies littering the ground in postures that seemed to indicate they were in horrible agony before they finally passed away. The supplies and livestock had been stolen, and everything else had been burned. But worst of all, every single one of the caravan members was missing his scalp. The scouts walked around in horror as they surveyed the scene, expecting not to find anyone alive. But amazingly, 2 members of the group had survived the attack. One of them was Robert.
So yeah, FYI, scalping was like a real thing the Native Americans did to the white settlers. But yeah, that's a real thing.
McGee.
Yikes ahead of
These
her.
2 men also had their scalps removed, but miraculously were still alive. The scouts rushed them back to the fort surgeon to be treated, but unfortunately, the other man died.
Did the orphan just survive? Hold
Robert, on the other hand, the scouts walked around in horror as they surveyed the scene, expecting not to find anyone alive. But amazingly, 2 members of the group had survived the attack. One of them was Robert McGee.
Okay, so he
These
did
2
survive,
men also
y'all.
had their scalps removed, but miraculously were still alive. The scouts rushed them back to the fort surgeon to be treated, but unfortunately, the other man died just a couple of hours later. Robert, on the other hand, despite extensive injuries, would make a remarkable recovery and was soon able to tell everyone exactly what happened that evening. According to Robert, the group was attacked without warning, and immediately there was no hope of fending them off, even with the armed escort. They rode in so quickly and with such ferocity that the majority of the group had been killed before anyone had a chance to react. Robert was then dragged in front of the native leader, who had supposedly personally wanted to carry out the arrest. Robert was then shot twice in the back and then had 2 more arrows shot into him, which stapled him to the ground. According to Robert, the leader then slowly removed Robert's scalp from the ears up.
Oh my God.
At this point, Robert finally passed out, and then the natives thought he was dead. When he woke up, everyone was gone, and he assumed he would simply die there as well because he couldn't move. It was at this point that the scouts happened upon the caravan and picked him up and brought him back to the fort. This was also when the armed escort came out of hiding and saw the full extent of what happened. They were promptly dismissed by the commander of the fort for their supposed lack of initiative, but again, this might have prevented more unnecessary bloodshed. Despite how serious his injuries were, Robert would make a full recovery and live a long, full life.
Wow.
About 20 years later, this famous picture was taken of him that shows
Oh man, look at this badass
For those of you just listening, it is a side profile of Robert that shows how little of his scalp he had left.
Look at this badass, y'all. Literally. Can we put can we edit frame some G glasses on him or whatever? A cigar. Wow, look at that. Look at that. That's so amazing. And I'm gonna say oh, it's amazing. No, I mean it's just so amazing that he was 13, 14. Y'all picture being that age and being scalped. And you are an orphan. And we think we have bad luck? No. No. Man, wow. What a really beautiful photo, though. Very, very, shocking, but beautiful. Wow. That's just so crazy to me.
Had left after the incident. It is obviously healed at this point, but you can see the extent of the damage that was done. From the back of the head around ear level, all the way up to just a small ridge at his forehead is missing. And apparently, this practice was not uncommon during the time period.
Exactly.
This was actually a practice engaged by both sides, meaning both migrants and the natives. In fact, at various points in time, scalps were taken as trophies and bounties were even paid out per scalp collected. And because of how common this practice was, Robert isn't even the only person to have survived and then later had their picture taken.
I didn't know that.
There's another famous picture taken of a man named Josiah Wilbarger that demonstrates a similar horrible fate. In a situation similar to Robert's, in 1833, a group he was traveling with was attacked and its members had their scalps removed. Robert was left for dead, but ultimately survived the incident. He even later made a living touring and showing off his scars and talking about the incident. Thankfully, this is a practice that is essentially extinct today. My name is Sean, and welcome to Scary Interesting. If you enjoyed the video...
Oh, his name is Sean. I like him more. That's my brother's name is Sean. Go subscribe to Scary Interesting. I really, really like this guy. I like his voice. So he's got a lot of subs, but go subscribe to him. There's a reason why he has a lot of subs. Good content. So there y'all go. That was an interesting one. So let me stop sharing so I can come back and I will pull up your questions. Okay, Angel? So hold please. But hopefully you guys like that video. I really like his voice and style, but I really like history and just kind of random things. So that was a good one. Right. That's why I said don't fuck with Native Americans. Don't do it. Don't do it. Even like when I think of hauntings, and that's the one thing I'm like, once I hear it's like, oh yeah, oh we just found out that it was built on top of an Indian burial ground. Like that would be my cue. Like, oh okay, cool, that's cool. All right, I'm gone because those type of hauntings and stuff like that, that type of like those, and even like if you think of skinwalkers and stuff like that, those are ancient, like just beginning of time type of entities that I'm not fucking with. I'm not fucking with that. So that's why I always say once I hear like Indian burial ground, I'm cool. I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't fuck around with it with the Native Americans. I don't do that. I don't do it. I don't do it. And I tell everyone else don't do it because that's some really ancient stuff. But anywho, I am pulling up your questions. I'm pulling up your questions now, Angel. So give me just a moment. All right, so Angel, your first question I see. So spirit angels and guides, please come through. For Angel would like to know, how is Francis feeling towards Angel at this current time? How is Francis feeling towards Angel currently? Were you mean to him? I hope you weren't mean to him. So we have the Seven of Swords, which kind of indicates a little bit of heartbreak. So I wonder if you were if you yelled at him or something. The King of Pentacles and the King of Wands. So I'm gonna say this: even if you did yell at him or something, I feel as though he's feeling really confident right now, and he's feeling confidence towards you as well. Hold on, let me see. Oh, okay, I see. I understand. So in general, I feel as though he feels really protective over you. Okay, good. You didn't yell at him. Good girl. So in general, I feel as though he feels really protective over you right now, and very energetic with that King of Wands, and very supportive. So I'm gonna say here, let me clarify that seven. That Seven of Swords and Three Swords. I feel like this is too. You know what? Remember the other night I said I feel like he's working on something, but he doesn't want to disappoint you or get your hopes up. That's coming through again right now. Okay, so there you go for your first question. Hold on. Hope you didn't do a hideous. That doesn't go well. What's a hideous? I'm confused. All right. So, Spirit Angels and Guides. Please go through for Angel again. Angel's next question is. Hold on. Let me pop it up real fast. Has it been really tough for Francis dealing with work? That's a great question. It's a very considerate question, too. Little angel. All right, so has work been tough and hard for Francis right now? So let's see what we got so far. We have the Wheel of Fortune. We have the Magician reverse. Then we also have the Hangman reverse. So it's definitely been hard for him to make moves. I feel like it almost feels as though like whatever he does, he feels like someone's kind of watching his every move. The Three of Pentacles. It feels like some of his, I'm going to be real honest here, okay? Unfiltered and unbreaded. Unbreaded. On paper, touchdown. On paper, unbreaded. Okay, so Three of Pentacles reverse. I really feel like some of his coworkers are like kiss asses or brown nosers to the boss. So they kind of like make him uneasy. Yes, and then we have the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So yes, it has been tough for him at work, to answer that simply, okay? So there's for the second one, my love. And then you have one more. Unbreaded. Unbreaded, darling. Touchdown. On paper. On paper. All right, so next question, Angel. Will he be able to get calls or got restrictions? Okay, I got you. I think I feel you on this one. Okay. So, Spirit Angels and Guides, will he be able to make phone calls soon or will they be restrictions? So will he be able to get them? Will he not be able to get them? Let's see. Will Francis be able to get phone calls soon while at work? Knight of Wands. Will he not? The Star. Ace of Cups. Will he not? Will he? Knight of Pentacles. Seven of Cups. Okay, I'm going to say... Okay, so this is close though, but I am going to say more than likely he'll be able to get them soon, okay? If not right now, give it like a day or two, but it will happen soon. You'll be able to talk to him really soon, okay? Like at least within a few days, my love. So there you go, my angel. All right, y'all. So, big yawn, big yawny. I'm gonna end stream. So, bye, Felicia. No, just kidding. If anybody has any other questions, let me know in the chat. Okay. Yeah, I noticed it was almost 2 hours too, Darth. Kind of went by quick tonight. Last night was almost 2 hours as well, but it was a little bit more, of course, fuller. But sharing the video was fun. The picture that he sent me a long time ago, and I was looking. You made me on too. Sorry, Melissa. I'm like, and you said yawn, and it kind of made me yawn too. So my bad. Hold on, what'd you say, Angel? The picture that he sent me a long time ago, and I was looking at him. The picture, I love the way. Oh, it's so sweet. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, that's so sweet, Angel. You're such a sweetie pie. Oh, see, be nice to Francis. You better be nice to him. You hear me, Angel? You be nice to that Francis. You hear me? You hear me, ma'am? But he's such a sweetie. What a sweetie. Right. Hold on. Let's see if I real quick for everyone leaves. Let me see. I might be able to share. Let me see if I can share a funny one. Or let me see what's on here real quick. Hold on. I might share one more just to make just okay. Hi, Tammy. So put one in the chat if you want something kind of spooky or scary, or put two in the chat if you want something more funny. So one for something kind of spooky and two for something kind of funny before we leave or end stream tonight. So one for something spooky and two for something kind of funny. Okay, hostess choice. Okay. So go ahead and do that now, Nessa, if you don't mind, because I am going to be ending stream pretty soon, like in 5-10 minutes. So if you have a question, go ahead and send in your tip or donation now, and let me know your question in the chat, and I will get to it. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Aw, That's so cute. I love it. You deserve it. All right, y'all. So hold on. I haven't heard from Nessa yet. So I might just share the video, and then if she does come on while I'm sharing, I could do her reading real quick after, because I'm looking for her and I don't see her. Okay. So my choice, says Darth. Good choice. Good job. So hold please. Okay, so this is a story that creeps me out. It's like crept me out for forever. So I'm going to share screen. And let me know if it's working okay. I'm going to do it now. And then, Darth, I'll ask you again to share the channel. I'll give it to you real quick, okay? Your screen, or you'll be able to see it. Okay, so share. It's called The Legends of History. Yeah, hold on. The Legends of History. I like this guy too. He's like a history buff. Some things are real factual. Actually, everything he does is real factual. Even the stories. Even if you don't believe the stories, they're factual stories that have been backed up from people. Okay, so, but let me know if you could see it, and then I will share it. Oh wait, hold on. I'll stop sharing. Stop sharing. All right, go ahead, Nessa. Go ahead and throw your question out real quick. And then I will bring it back up, y'all. Okay, I promise. And look at Sophie. Darth, answer Sophie's question. I'm giving it to the wretch. My wretch ones will answer that question. Darth, help me. Come on. So, Angel, that's a good question. I do know a little bit about palm reading. However, I would not say that I'm either. Of course, it would not be like how I am with tarot. With tarot, I consider myself pretty experienced. But I do know a little bit about palm reading. I love palm reading. There's some really, really fun history in palm reading. For instance, Mark Twain was like obsessed with palm reading. He literally, like, this quote from Mark Twain talking about how the person or persons who ever read his palm knew him deeper than any lover, mother, or child ever did, and even more than himself. He said those that had done palm readings for himself knew him better than him himself. So there's some really good history in palm reading, like just some really fun, really deep, really interesting history in palm reading. I do know a little bit about it. However, like I said, I would not say I am like I am in tarot, experience. But I do know a little bit. So, Sophie, this is a tarot reading channel for the most part. However, though, this is people that know me know that from time to time it might get slow on the channel or something to that degree. And it's a chill stream. At the end of the day, everyone's comfortable here. I talk to you guys, everybody that's in the audience. So if you ever have an issue, with something I'm playing, or if, you're like, hey, I want a reading, let me know. However, also remember, like Dar said, it's still Clumsy's channel. It's my channel. So I could choose to listen to that advice or not. However, though, I consider myself pretty considerate. So, and guess what? So if you would ask, if you're asking, is this a tarot or history channel? I would say you cannot say it's not both, because tarot has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years technically. So I would say it's both. All right, so hold on. I see you, Nessa, up there. What is going to happen in my love life? All right, and thank you for your donation / tip. I appreciate it very much. And I'm trying to see if you did 6 or 9 real quick. Hold on, Nessa. All right, 6. Okay, so thank you, Nessa. Appreciate you again. Appreciate that. Okay, so Spirit, angels, and guides, please come through for Nessa. Nessa would like to know what is going to happen in Nessa's love life for the rest of January. Let's see. Rest of January for Nessa. All right, one more, please. There we go. Got it. So what do we got? Oh, man down. Hold, please. All right, so we have Justice. We also have the King of Cups, the 7 of Cups, the Empress. Very nice. So good energy so far. King of Pentacles in reverse. And then the 9 of Swords. So I feel as though maybe coming towards the end of the month, you have been, or you might be feeling like a little bit of anxiety or kind of like worry in regards to your love life, whether it's like the lack thereof, or it just hasn't been picking up, or you're just kind of bored. Whatever the case might be with that anxiety. I feel as though, and I think I've said this before, you have 2 or more energies coming through. But for towards the end of January, with this King of Cups and the King of Pentacles in reverse, whoever is the water sign, I feel like is really holding reins. And when I say water sign, I mean Pisces. I also mean Cancer, and I mean Scorpio, okay? However, if you can't identify them by the sign, I would say the one that seems more emotionally secure, okay? And this is interesting too for the rest of the month in regards to love. We have Justice and we have the Empress, okay? So I feel like like I said a minute ago, you might be feeling like, oh, things are boring right now, or that's just kind of like whatever. I feel as though that's really going to take a turn for your benefit, especially with this feminine Empress energy. That's very much like Venus energy. That's the planet of love and beauty. So I would even say too, go get your nails done, or go get like a haircut or a hair trim. Go take a bubble bath, anything that makes you feel a little bit more feminine, or a little bit, just more loved, relaxed, or beautiful or special, do that for yourself this week. I feel like it's important, or at least by this month. Okay, Nessa? So there you go, my dear. And Sophie, if you had a quick question, you could type it in the chat. If you didn't send a tip or donation, that's fine. I'll probably just give you one or two cards, but I can answer you really quickly if you do have a question. All right, my dear? Check's in the mail, Angel. Your check's in the mail. Your check is in the mail, my lovey. Yeah, and Darth is like 100% correct. You'll rarely see me sharing videos like ever on a stream. I think I've done it maybe 3 or 4 times. But if you go look at how many lives and videos I have in total, it's something like 200 or 300. So that kind of gives you some relevance as to how often I do have like Darth said, like a little bit of a chill stream. However, though, once we kind of start going through the videos and stuff, we're like, oh, the ones of us that are here, we get kind of interested. So, yeah. But Sophie, if you're in the chat, let me know if you do want a reading real quick, because I am about to share this video. And after I share this, we will be ending stream, okay? And Angel, you're so sweet. Thank you. You are my best friend, my guardian angel. Thank you, Angel. That's so kind of you to say. You're such a sweetie. Thank you. All right, so everyone give me a thumbs up. You guys are about to learn about Ingrid Cole. Okay, so this is a story that's fascinated me for years, okay? And the guy whose channel it comes from, I really like him a lot. Okay, I'm going to say that. I really, really, really like him. He's got a good voice as well, but he's like very historical dude, like very like matter of fact person, which is good, especially for stories like this. So that's why I think I wanted to kind of go to this one. And I haven't seen this one in a long time. Like I kind of forgot it was in my save or watch later videos. But this is such an interesting story that I am very curious what everybody else really thinks of the story. So let's share. Okay, so give me a thumbs up if everybody can see it, okay? And once I know y'all can see it, I will hit play, okay? I do not have friends. I'm always by myself. Only my daughter and my grandson have friends. Well, guess what? Well, we're your friends, Angel. I hope you're totally comfortable here, okay? I had a conversation with a close friend of mine just the other night about how we were saying like we don't have very many friends. So that's not necessarily a bad thing all the time, right? But yeah, we got you. You're in a good space here, and we love you. So you're good.
A stretch of terrain known simply as Interstate 77.
Okay.
On a mountainous stretch of terrain known simply as Interstate 77, one man was said to come across a most eerie sight in the thick of darkness. The road was mostly deserted at that time of night, if not for a lone driver by the name Woodrow Derenberger, who was on his way home. The highway was poorly lit, and if not for his headlights, Derenberger would have only the stars for light and company. But despite the ominous feel of a nighttime drive across a lonely highway, Derenberger had made this very trip hundreds of times. He knew the road well enough, and so was most likely not
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna rewind this because I feel like I missed something. Okay, it's about some dude on a
expecting
highway.
to come across
Okay, so be
on a
quiet.
mountainous stretch of terrain known simply as Interstate 77.
Okay, got
One
it
man
now.
was said to come across a most eerie sight in the thick of darkness. The road was mostly deserted at that time of night, if not for a lone driver by the name Woodrow Derenberger, who was on his way home. The highway was poorly lit, and if not for his headlights, Derenberger would have only the stars for light and company. But despite the ominous feel of a nighttime drive across a lonely highway, Derenberger had made this very trip hundreds of times. He knew the road well enough, and so was most likely not expecting to come across a being that would change his life forever. The year was 1966, and Woodrow Derenberger appeared to be a regular family man, with a wife and two children. He was a salesman and a resident of Parksburg, West Virginia, an area he'd lived and worked in for 50
So again, I studied this guy, this one who had this experience with Ingrid Cole, um, or Indrid Cole, sorry. And this was just your literally your run of the mill, but really hardworking and I would say fairly intelligent man. Um, late 60s, oh 66, okay. Um, but yeah, so just kind of I would say picture yourself in this poor guy's shoes because this stuff gets really interesting.
50 years. But it was on this fateful night, on his resident of Parksburg, West Virginia, an area he'd lived in.
Hold on, I just want to make sure. There we go. Okay, sorry, y'all.
And Woodrow Derenberger appeared to be a regular family man, with a wife and two children. He was a salesman and a resident of Parksburg, West Virginia, an area he'd lived and worked in for 50 years. But it was on this fateful night, on his way back from Marietta, Ohio, on business, that this seemingly ordinary man was about to have a most extraordinary encounter. At the intersection of Route 47 on Interstate 77, a large vehicle overtook Derenberger's truck, but not just any vehicle. To Derenberger, this was undoubtedly a spaceship, or at least an unidentified flying object. It zoomed past Derenberger's truck and proceeded to maneuver in front of him before slowing down, forcing the unsuspecting salesman to stop. Derenberger described the wonder as an old-fashioned kerosene lamp chimney, and that it flared at both ends, narrowing down to a small neck and then enlarging into a great bulge in the center. This bizarre vehicle landed straight in front of Derenberger, who tells that a door opened up on the surface of the craft. There, entirely alone on this lonesome highway, a man emerged in the doorway, a grinning man. He was dressed in a blue topcoat that was zippered down the front and was said to have been of a glossy material, almost like it was shiny or metallic. Derenberger would say his trousers were a shade lighter than his coat, but for the most part, he dressed in what we would expect to be regular human clothes.
So that's kind of how I took it too. Like that's like the shape I was kind of thinking of. Hold on, I will rewind it just a little, but I kind of thought the same thing.
A grinning man. He was dressed in a blue topcoat that was zippered down the front and was said to have been of a glossy material, almost like expecting salesman to stop. Derenberger described the wonder as an old-fashioned kerosene lamp chimney, and that it flared at both ends, narrowing down to a small neck and then enlarging into a
He
great
said it was
bulge
a
in the center.
grinning man, Darth. But
This
yeah,
bizarre
I
vehicle
picture
landed
the
straight in
the
front of
the Joker
Derenberger,
as well.
who tells that a door opened up on the surface of the craft. There, entirely alone on this lonesome highway, a man emerged in the doorway, a grinning
Right,
man.
whoever does this illustration does a
He
great
was
job.
dressed in a blue topcoat that was zippered down the front and was said to have been of a glossy material, almost like it was shiny or metallic. Derenberger would say his trousers were a shade lighter than his coat, but for the most part, he dressed in what we would expect to be regular human clothes.
Okay, so this is extremely interesting. His description of the person, the being that he meets at this time. Okay, and it's extremely, extremely. It's just so very interesting. And if you know the whole story of this injured cold person, there's so many layers to it. It's very well documented and just so interesting. So, having said that, I really like hearing like his initial responses and like kind of descriptions of this person, this being that he runs into.
clothes. Perhaps the most remarkable feature about this man, other than his courteous smile, was his tan, almost like he'd just come back from a sunny country.
Expert.
Darren Berger continued that he looked like any other man that one may come across on the street. Darren Berger was too stunned to reverse. All he could do was watch in part awe and part terror as this strange man descended from the craft and made his way towards the passenger side of Darren Berger's truck. The mysterious man then asked Darren Berger to roll down his window, and when Darren Berger obliged, the grinning man asked for his name before telling him not to be frightened. Interesting.
So I see your message, Nessa. If you do donate for one more, just know it'll be like a 7-minute wait. I am gonna finish out this clip because we're like all well into the story. But as long as you're okay with waiting like 6-7 minutes, that's totally fine, and you could do so. Okay, Lovey?
The mysterious man then asked Darren Berger to roll down his window, and when Darren Berger obliged, the grinning man asked for his name before telling him not.
Sorry, I would be like, so if they asked me to roll down my window, I don't know though. Like if I literally saw felt like I was seeing like a craft come down and then a person come out of it, I just don't know. Maybe I'd be in such shock. I'd be like, okay, fuck it, let me roll the window down and talk to Mr. Injured Cole.
Not to be frightened. Interestingly, Darren Berger revealed that this entity referred to himself as we, and told Darren Berger, "We mean you no harm," and "We wish you only happiness." He then
And no
identified
problem,
himself
thank you.
as Cold. Their interaction thereafter was mostly benign, though incredibly strange. Cold seemed to not know where he was, nor what the city of Parkersburg was. In fact, Darren Berger.
So this is interesting. I don't know if you heard that, but they said Cole, Mr. Cole, he was the one, this person, because he describes him as a man-looking person, doesn't seem to know where they are. And he's asking this dude, this is a regular old, family USA dude, where he's at, the location, et cetera, et cetera. So I do find that kind of just a little bit interesting, just saying.
Cold seemed to not know where he was, nor what the city of Parkersburg was. In fact, Darren Berger would have to explain to him the concept of a city and what it was that took place there. Cold had some understanding as to what a community was, but apparently explained that where he was from, it was called a gathering. Throughout this interaction, Cold seemed intent in maintaining Darren Berger's attention and didn't want him to drive off out of fear. He repeatedly told him not to be frightened, but Darren Berger, understandably, was absolutely bricking it. First
Right.
of all, there was a giant spaceship in the middle of the road, and what could only be presumed as an alien was now asking him questions about Earth.
Right.
To make this experience even more nerve-wracking, this interaction was said by Darren Berger to have taken place telepathically. The two men appeared to exchange some limited information. Darren Berger tells us that he was so afraid that he wasn't able to look Cold in the eyes, and that several times Cold requested that he look at him. Upon
So, just an FYI. So, if anybody, I'm sure a lot of you know, but I just want to say this: for anybody doesn't mean or doesn't know what it means when he says to communicate telepathically, that means through thought, not through actual, speaking through human language. It's meaning he spoke to him his thoughts to his thoughts. Okay, so for example, just a quick example: have you ever been in a room with like a coworker who farted, and then you and the other coworker looked at each other at the exact same time and totally looked at each other and said both, like in your heads, like OMG at the exact same time? That's kind of like talking telepathically. to each other a little bit. I see it that way, just a tiny bit. However, of course, this isn't farting. Your coworker farting. So, but I felt like it was a good example. But that is talking through thought rather than words. So, just a FYI.
Derenberger tells us that he was so afraid that he wasn't able to look Cold in the eyes, and that several times Cold requested that he look at him. Upon reflection,
Ooh,
Derenberger
hold on.
believed that had he obliged, he might have been able to understand more of what Cold
That's
was trying to
interesting.
tell
Hold on.
Derenberger to have taken place telepathically.
Okay.
First of all, there
That
was a
was
giant
interesting.
spaceship in the middle of the road,
I missed
and what
that
could only
there.
be
Okay.
presumed as an alien was now asking him questions about Earth. To make this experience even more nerve-wracking, this interaction was said by Derenberger to have taken place telepathically.
Okay, so through thought.
The two men appear to exchange some limited information. Derenberger tells us that he was so afraid that he wasn't able to look Cold in the eyes,
That would be
and
me.
that several times Cold requested that he look at him.
Interesting.
Upon reflection, Derenberger believed that had he obliged, he might have been able to understand more of what Cold was trying to tell him. As far as he could gather, though, Cold described himself as a searcher, and that he was looking for something. But he did not disclose any more. After the interaction was over, Cold was said to have bid Derenberger good night, but not before telling him, "We will see you again." He then boarded his spaceship, where Derenberger claimed to have seen the outline of another man in the doorway of the craft. With that, the spaceship ascended, and for the most part, that is where the mysterious tale ends. For Woodrow Derenberger and his family, however, the tale was only just beginning. When Derenberger returned home, he immediately told his wife of what he'd seen. This would prompt a phone call to the police, who arrived along with a reporter from the local radio network. In later interviews and in her book Beyond Lanulus, Tanya Derenberger,
So this dude was so freaked out, he literally called the police.
the daughter of Woodrow, details the events that took place after her father's encounter with the man known as Cold. It is understood that after several interviews, Woodrow began to disappear from their house for days.
So hold on. I was gonna say, what you mean? Yeah. So there was someone. You know what? There's something I'd seen or read about that we comment that he would often reflect or refer to them as we. So it's interesting you picked that up. It's interesting you picked that up, Darth.
For days, or even weeks at a time. While his whereabouts could never be determined, Tanya recounts that her father was once again visited by Cold, and that Cold had even come to their house.
Okay, so hold
From
on.
there, it is understood
I'm
that
just
after several
rewinding just a
interviews,
tad
Woodrow
because it
began
gets
to disappear from
interesting
their house.
too. There we go.
Tanya Derenberger, the daughter of Woodrow,
Yeah, the daughter.
details
Okay.
the events that took place after her father's encounter with the man known as Cold.
So this is his daughter's
It is
account.
understood that after several interviews, Woodrow began to disappear from their house for days, or even weeks at a time. While his whereabouts could never be determined, Tanya recounts that her father was once again visited by Cold, and that Cold had even come to their house. From there, Woodrow was taken on a voyage to the home planet of Cold, known as Lanulus, and that these excursions would become a frequent occurrence. On some occasions, Woodrow was able to explain where he'd been, but on other occasions, he would have no recollection of his absence from the home. Tanya recounts in her book that Woodrow would turn to drinking in the years after his encounter with Cold, and that he would often seem to be on the brink of a nervous breakdown. It is unknown whether this was because of some side effect that the journey to this Lanulus had on him, or because his mental health was seriously declining, but one thing was for sure, the entity known as Cold had certainly made his mark upon the Derenberger family. In his later years, Woodrow was said to make peace with his past, and there did not seem to be much in the way of new encounters with Cold, nor new trips to Lanulus. Given that Woodrow would seldom reveal any information about Cold
Weirdo.
or Lanulus, it is unknown whether the pair had some kind of falling out, or whether Woodrow had seen something in this new world that had changed him in some way. Whatever the case, Tanya reported seeing Cold at Woodrow's funeral, and that he too had aged since he'd last seen.
Okay, so this is years later, y'all. Okay, so follow me if you can. It's years later. after the dad has had this experience, okay, the daughter recalls her, even like the cops being called and stuff. If you could really go down a rabbit hole with Injured Cole. Like, not even kidding you. There's so much interesting stuff on this. This a person, or like Dar said, alleged alien entity. Okay, um, so picture it's years later, okay, and the daughter reports that there's certain times during her life where she recalls actually seeing Injured Cold. Okay, only a few very select times, like 2 or 3 times. So now it's years later, and her father has died, and she's a well-grown adult. So here we go.
Last seen him. Was Woodrow's account, or whether Woodrow had seen something in this new world that had changed him in some way? Whatever the case, Tournier reported seeing Cold at Woodrow's funeral, and that he too had aged since he'd last seen him. Whilst Woodrow's account appears to be the most well known, and certainly the most detailed, there do exist other accounts of those who had run into this grinning man, though his appearance differs slightly. In what is sometimes thought to be the first sighting of Indrid Cold, that which took place a month before Woodrow's encounter, 2 boys by the name Martin Munov and James Yankitis were walking along 4th Street in New Jersey when they came across a man standing near a fence. This man then proceeded to chase the boys until they were able to evade him. Whilst there is little to corroborate.
Okay, so this is interesting again about this Indrid Cole character. So this is talking about before even Mart or the other guy, the truck driver, or Woodrow. Yeah, okay. So this is before Woodrow's experience. There were less documented than this case, because this guy right here, his daughter, that guy's wife, there was like so much documentation about these visitations with Injured Cold, and there was actually police documentation about the actual like reports he had made, etc. But this is interesting too. This is just some other stories in regards to Injured Cold around and before that time. So
Corroborate this story, and very little to suggest a connection to Indrid Cold, the boys would describe him as being unusually tall and having a constant grin. They would
Joker.
also add on that this man had no nose, no ears, and no hair. One similarity other than the grin, however, was that this man was wearing a reflective metallic suit, much like the one Woodrow Derenberger had described. In another semi-well-known story relating to Indrid Cold, a family in, where else but Point Pleasant, West Virginia, were experiencing what they determined to be a haunting in their home. On one night, the daughter of the Lilly family, named Linda, was said to awake to the presence of a man standing over her. Like in the previous cases, this man maintained a constant grin and proceeded to pace around the bed, showing no signs of anything but delight as Linda screamed. Linda hid under the covers from her tormentor, but when she mustered up the bravery to peek out from the duvet, he was gone. Now, many of you are likely thinking that the stories relating to Indrid Cold are pretty easy to falsify. And you're right. All you need to do is have a grinning man, and you're already halfway there.
Right.
It's easy to see how these stories have captivated our imaginations, though, given that grinning, in a constant fashion, is perhaps one of the most creepiest
It's
things
creepy,
ever.
yeah.
I mean, in 2020, what does anyone have to be grinning about? It's unsettling at the best of times to consider someone with an eternal grin plastered on their face, but in the thick of night, and in our most vulnerable states, a grinning man is enough to have any of us crossing the road, and maybe quickening our pace. But where do these ideas come from? Well, in the case of the first sighting in 1966, this could very well have been 2 boys getting spooked by the sight of a man and simply embellishing the story thereafter, whether intentionally or not. The case of Linda Lilly hiding from this grinning man under her duvet covers could be explained by a case of sleep paralysis, or even a vivid
Don't get me
nightmare.
started on sleep
But the
paralysis,
case of
dude.
Woodrow Derenberger is a little harder to debunk.
Exactly.
For anyone wishing to hear his account, it is available on YouTube, and I'll leave a link to it in the comments below. But if I'm honest, the guy genuinely sounds like he's telling the truth, or that he believed in what he was experiencing. Some believe that because of Derenberger witnessing a spaceship, that Indrid Cold has to be an alien of some kind. and that there are in fact other humanoid species out there that are able to communicate telepathically. Of course, others are far more skeptical and believe that Derenberger was simply overstressed from work and was beginning to suffer from mental illness. This would suggest that whilst Derenberger believed in what he saw, he was actually suffering from some delusion. Another idea suggested by skeptics is that Woodrow was having an affair, and that he made up this whole escapade so as to distract from the actual truth of his
I don't believe
infidelity.
that one for a sec.
In relation to this, another idea is that Woodrow was secretly homosexual, and that this Indrid Cold was actually his lover, hence why he would end up at their house, and why Woodrow would disappear with him for weeks at a time.
that
Unable
was
to accept the
interesting.
truth about him, the entity of Indrid Cold and the world of Lanulus
This one's a
became
lot
how the
harder
family
to
coped
debunk, though.
with
Hold on.
Woodrow's sexuality. But these ideas are merely speculations,
Yeah.
and the truth is, none of us will likely ever know what really happened that night in November 1966 on Interstate 77. Do you guys have any stories about Indrid Cold? Have you ever experienced a case of a grinning man that communicated with you telepathically?
Okay, y'all. So again, this is the Legends of History. I absolutely adore this guy. Another good voice. Go sub up to him. I like him. He's a very rational person. Okay, so like a lot of times you hear him talking about stories from the Bible. You hear him talking about stories of demons from the Bible. Like this guy's got so many really great videos. And as Darth noted, he's got like a really, really good animator or illustrator, maybe both. Yeah, go sub up to him. He's awesome, and he's very, very critical, which I like. I like someone who is ready to debunk. However, though, I also like him too because he's not shut off to the ideas of something else, which I think is important. And I did not know. Okay, so during the video, he said there's a recording of there's an actual recording of that guy like giving his interview of what happened to him, and I'm looking for it. I don't see it though. Hold on. Yeah, I don't see it, but that's really interesting. Yeah, like super interesting. So, all right. But yeah, sub up to him, y'all. He's good. I like his voice again. Really smart dude, and like Dark said, he's got a great illustrator. So I'm gonna stop sharing, and then let me go answer. Oh, did he put it in the comments, Darth? Okay, I'll go. I'm gonna try to find it after I do Nessa's reading, just because I'm super curious. Okay, so Nessa, okay, donated. Thank you, appreciate you again. Donated. I'll come back later. 9 cards regarding the last reading. Who is coming toward me? Actually, or who is coming towards me? Actually, asking me out in January. All right. So, spirit angels and guides, please come through for Nessa. Nessa would like to know who is actually coming towards her in the month of January for this month. Like, might be asking her out. Okay, what else? And who else or what else? Okay. So, 9 of Cups, I'm going to take less attention to the minors, and I'm going to pay more attention here, okay, Nessa, to the actual, so this is 2 of Pentacles. I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to here because you're asking who. We're going to pay more attention to the major arcanas and to the courtyards, the court cards. Okay, I said courtyards. Okay, so that's not that important. 9 of Wands. No. Okay, so far, I'm going to pull extra, though, for you because of this. So we have the Hermit. So I feel so one of these people is going to be quite shy, okay? Or they could also be a Virgo, a little bit to themselves. And then I'll ask Spirit to come through to give us any more hints on who may be reaching out to you romantically. Okay, so 9 of Swords. King of Swords. Okay, so this is boss energy or a little bit of older energy. Someone who might be a little bit more successful than this Hermit energy and a little bit older. And then Justice Reverse. We're not going to take that one. Well, actually, you know what? This could be someone. We could say this could be someone like who works for the, like who's a judge or works like in the courts or something like that, some type of governmental role. However, it's a reverse. So I would say if you do come across someone like that, that's a no-go. And then let's see if there's anybody else just in case. Anybody else coming through in January? Let's see. 3 of Cups, Temperance. Temperance, we could say also this could be a Sagittarius. Yes, Temperance is Sagittarius. Also, someone who may have a very peaceful energy, okay? So, there you go, my dear. And as far as looks, I'm going to say someone with medium to light brown hair all the way up to medium brown hair, okay? So, there you go, my dear. And thank you again for your tip/donation. I appreciate you. And hold on, real quick, I am going to look at what Darth was just telling me about real quick, because now I'm like curious if it was in that guy's comment. So hold up, wait a minute, since everyone's here hanging out with me. Let's see. And the answer to that is yes. John D, you're here. You totally have to totally hit replay. We've been this has been the chill stream where we I totally have only done a few readings that have been have been kind of going off my normal grid and everything. And you're welcome, Nessa. Thank you for being very patient. I appreciate that. So, but hold on. I am gonna look for that thing that me and Darth were talking about. Okay, so real quick, I have to share this. It's only a 60-second or 90-second video, real quick, because I just absolutely adore this little redhead kid. I adore him to no avail, and I have to share this video real quick. I forgot about this little kid. He's so freaking cute. He's so freaking funny. I want to squeeze his cheeks and eat his fat little toes. This little kid is so stupid cute. So hold on, I'm gonna share this real quick because he's so cute. And then I'm gonna look for that thing in the comments of that Legends of History video. But hold on, I just came across it, so I have to share it. Okay, give me a thumbs up if y'all can see him okay. This little redhead kid. Oh no, that's where Steven's at right now. Well, he lives there, of course, but hopefully he's all good. Okay, so listen to this cute, stupid, adorable little cute redhead. I just want to eat him.
What do you think about the ride? It was great. And apparently, I've never been on live television before, but apparently sometimes I don't watch the news because I'm a kid, and apparently Grandpa just gives me a remote after we watch the Powerball.
I love him. The Powerball.
Well, it was great because apparently you're spinning around, and apparently every time you get dizzy, that's all you do is get dizzy. Yeah. And I've never ever been on live television. I never ever be on live
I don't believe you. I don't believe you, little redhead. I do not believe
I
you.
went down the super slide. When I went down the one, I was scared half to death.
Half to death.
I just freaked out.
I love him.
I need his name. Hold on. Yep. Hold on. I'm just
Yo,
what's his
do
name?
you not love him?
Noah. What's your last name?
Deck Ritter.
How do you spell your?
Deck
how do you spell your
Ritter.
last name?
OMG.
R-I-T-T-E-R.
I'm
Okay,
gonna
where are you
steal
guys
this
from?
kid. Sorry, no, I didn't mean that.
Alright,
You guys, YouTube, it was a joke. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna steal this child. But he's so cute.
All right.
That is my dad's town.
Hold on, real quick. Just that last part kills me. Watch. Just real quick. He's all,
Where are
apparently.
you guys from? Wilkes-Barre. All right, buddy. How do you spell his last name?
Ritter, R-I-T-T-E-R.
Okay, where are you guys
He's so great. He's so funny.
What's his name?
Ritter.
What's your last name?
Deck Ritter.
How do you spell his
Tell me he's not gonna be like legit, like
Okay, where are you guys from?
like Barbara Walters with the female
Wilkes-Barre.
redhead
All
version.
right, buddy. Good stuff. Have fun.
Apparently, I only went down the super slide. When I went down the one, I was scared half to death.
I was scared half to death. I just love him. Y'all, I love him. He's so cute and dorky.
Noah, what's your
Noah, you're adorable, you little brat.
Ritter.
Deck Ritter. Oh my gosh, y'all. He kills me. That little boy is stupid cute. For real, for real. Hold up. Right? Like, who would not want to steal that kid? Okay, so real quick, hold on. Let me look for that. If I can find it or if it is on here. Give me a sec, y'all. Here. Watch later. Okay, so I could not find the one in the description. However, though, I feel as though it's important because John D is here. We might as well just like break him into the initiation before I do finally end the live stream. John D, I'm gonna introduce you to Carla. Carla is the most funniest thing in the whole world, and prepare to fall in love because Carla is legit. She's the funniest thing on earth, and I'm going to share it with you right now because Carla literally is so hilarious. Like, everybody loves Carla. So, hold on. Where we at? Where you at, Carla? Where you at, Carla? All right, y'all. Hold your applause, you guys. Hold your applause. I know y'all love Carla. So for the end of the night, we're going to end it with Carla. All hail Carla in the chat because she's so freaking hilarious. John D prepared to be broken in because we love Carla, okay? Because she's the bomb.com. Having said that, okay, let's share screen. Be careful with your cooter. No doubt, Melissa. Those are really good tips, actually, now that you said it. Careful with your cooter, y'all. Careful with your cooter. All right, we ready to roll? John D, prepare to be broken in, my dear.
I have an announcement to make to y'all, to the people of America. I was at this here McDonald's on Dorset. It's Monday night. I was just disrespected in there. Almost got in a fight with the gal
I'm
in
going to
there.
cover my mouth. I'm sorry.
First
I'm
of
going to
all,
die.
my first issue is the drive-through was filled all the way up,
All
and
the
I
way
had
up.
to walk inside. So then I'm already mad because I got to get out my car and go inside. So I go inside. I politely say, "Hey, can I have a McRib meal, large size with the Dr. Pepper?" And the lady said, "Well, okay, that'd be $6.58." I said, "Ain't you forgetting something, ma'am?" And she said,
What do you think that she forgot? She said, "Ain't you forgetting something, ma'am? Ain't you forgetting something, ma'am?" Okay, here you go.
"Well, what?" I said, "You're supposed to offer me the extra McRib for $1 when you buy the McRib meal."
You ain't gonna believe this.
You ain't gonna believe it. She looked me up and down, and she said, "Well, it don't look like you need the extra McRib." "Excuse me, bitch." I throw punched that bitch. I knocked her ass down. So if you come to the Dorset McDonald's and you see a lady named Charlene in there,
The Dorset McDonald's.
tell her Carla sent you. And then you throw punch her or punch her in the cooter. I don't give a damn. This is against my civil rights.
This is against our civil rights. Fuck you, McDonald's on Dorset.
On Dorset. Not all the other ones. I like all the other ones.
Okay, just real quick. Just real quick. Real quick. She's so funny. I just love her. I love her. She's so funny, y'all. She is so freaking funny. Hold on. Just real quick. Just because she's so funny. Hold on. Oh, maybe not. It's taking forever to push the skip button.
"Hey, can I have a McRib meal, large size with the Dr. Pepper?"
With the Dr. Pepper.
And the lady said, "Well, okay, that'd be $6.58.
Ain't you forgetting something, ma'am?
I said, "Ain't you forgetting something, ma'am?" And she said, "Well, what?" I said, "You're supposed to offer me the
extra McRib
for $1 when you buy the McRib meal."
Yeah. What happened to that?
You ain't gonna believe it. She looked me up and down.
Look, she goes up and down.
And she said, "Well, it don't look like you need the extra McRib."
Squeeze me?
"Excuse me, bitch." I throw punched that bitch. I knocked her ass down. So if you come to the Dorset McDonald's
On
and
Dorset,
you see a lady named Charlene in there,
throw punch her.
tell her Carla sent you. And then you throw punch her in the cooter. I don't give a damn. This is against my civil rights. Fuck you, McDonald's.
Fuck you, McDonald's.
On Dorset. Not all the other ones. I like all the other ones.
Okay, hold on. If they have part 2 on here. Oh, I don't think they do. Okay, Sunday. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, that's so freaking funny. It's so funny, y'all. It's so. Tell Carlos sent you. That's right. Tell Carlos sent you. This is against my civil rights. So look, John D, you are now branded into the club, the Carla Club, because Carla's fucking hilarious. You can't believe this shit. She looked me up and down, and she said, you know what she said? Don't look like you need the extra McRib. I throw punch that bitch. Fuck you, McDonald's. On Dorset, not all the other ones. I like them. All right, so tonight was such a fun stream, y'all. Thank you for hanging out with me. We were here for quite a while. I appreciate you, Darth. An extra thank you to Darth. Darth, thank you so much for dropping the links to those channels while we were kind of going through some of them. I really do appreciate you for that. Everybody that's here, I appreciate you. Extra thanks to those who sent in tips, donations. Love y'all. We'll be back tomorrow. Tonight was a nice, fun, chill stream, like we all said. So I appreciate it, y'all. And I will see you tomorrow.